Good morning one and all. In this video we are going to learn web config file. This is one of the configuration setting file present in ASP.NET. Now this file is used to manage various settings that are used for the website. Now various settings, suppose we want to set connect to a database, connect to a server. So we will mention that one into the configuration file, and that will be applicable for your all application containing all the web forms. So web config file, that can be a single file or that can be a many files. So by default there is a one web.config file is present for your web application, for your website in ASP.NET. Even suppose there are the multiple folders are present for your website or web application, then for each and every folder you can create a different web.config file. Now how exactly this web.config file works, or the hierarchy if we consider. So there is a one machine.config file. So that machine.config file, it is at the higher hierarchy. After that a single web.config file, and suppose we want to add another web.config file, then this new config file will be available for your subfolder. For let's take an example. Suppose you are having a website of college website. So for your institute website there are the different menus, different modules are there. One section for suppose department, another module section it is for exam. So for configuration settings that are common for department will be saved in a one config file, web.config file. We will add another web.config file for the exam module of your college website. So this exam module containing the web pages, and all these web pages required a common database connection, a common setting for the authentication, common setting for the authorization of the users. So these settings are common for these web pages. So that's why we will make a group of web pages that require a common setting, common configuration setting, and that can be associated with the help of the web.config file. Now what is that web.config file? We have learned chapter number 8, that is about the XML, extensible markup language. So this XML, you know that we can define our user defined tag with the help of the XML. So web.config file, it is nothing but an XML file, and within this XML file you can write down the configuration setting which is required for your website or the web application. So that is your web.config file. So what is a web.config file? Web.config file, it is one configuration setting file which is present for each and every application, each and every website of your ASP.NET. And you can add multiple web.config file as per the requirement. So this web.config file, single web.config file will be having all the configuration setting for your whole application. And suppose your whole application containing different folders, then for each and every folder we can add a different web.config file. So there is no condition that there will be only one web.config file. There can be multiple web.config file. Now its uses, that its properties, it will set a properties and behavior for your ASP.NET web applications. It is available to manage the many settings. So suppose you are having higher hierarchy web.config file, a single file, and subfolders again containing each and every folder containing its own web config file. So this newly added web config file will be having some extra features. So that extra features are applicable for that subfolder web pages. Now which type of file is this? This is an XML file, and what it contains? It contains a set of configuration elements. Now what are the benefits of XML based configuration file? It is very easy one to store it and to retrieve it. It is human readable, so you can read that file. Even you no need to restart the web server when the settings are changed in the configuration file. So you no need to restart it even you have changed that particular file. It will automatically detect the changes and that will be applied to your ASP.NET application. As it is a simple XML file, it requires a simple text editor or the simple XML parser to create and edit that file. So it is very simple one to maintain that file, to store it, to retrieve it, and if you do some changes, then automatically that changes will be applied to all your application. Now what that web.config file contains, these are some main points we can say it contained in that web.config file. So we will go one by one: database connection, caching setting, session states, error handling, and security. Now your web.config file, you can see here, this is your root tab configuration, and within the configuration connection string you can see. This is one example of database that we will see later when we start our database chapter. So connection string, it is used to mention that to which database you are going to connect with this application, and all these web pages can access the data from that particular database. So here you can see this is a connection string, my name, my connection string server, my server database name is GPKP, UID XYZ, password my data 1223. Now we will see in detail about settings of web.config file. Now you can see this is a configuration file. Configuration, this is your root element of your tree. So this is a tree structure. So configuration, it is a root element and it contains different child elements such as config section, system.web, connection string, app setting. Now first one element is the system.web. Now the system.web again containing different settings. Now we'll see the first setting as in a compilation setting. So here you can set a compilation setting as in a debugging as in a true. So your application will get debug every time when you run it. So you have to set it compilation, and here debug is equal to true. If it is a false one, then your application will be get debug. There's some compilation settings you can see here, optimize compilation, bash timeout, you can set it different also, and some assembly setting. So this is your system settings. Second setting, it is about the web page. You can assign for the web page such as session state, view state, buffer, etc. Among that session state, you know that you can manage your state of that particular page. So here you can see pages, buffer, true, style sheet, theme is a theme of that particular style sheet. That page, master page file, it is a master page.master, and whether it will validate the events, yes, true. So it is about the master page theme, the same that you can apply for the other pages. Next one, it is about the custom error setting. Now by default, if suppose there is some error in your ASP.NET application, then it will be redirected to their predefined error handling pages. For example, suppose some method is not available or that particular web page is not available. So such kind of error will be handled by their own predefined ASPX pages. But you can set it or you can customize it with the help of, suppose you have created your own ASPX page as an error page and you want to handle it. So you can handle with this one custom errors, that is their predefined tag, and within that default redirect is equal to, you have to write down it redirect to your page, and then set it as a mode as an on, and status code 401 redirect to unauthorized.aspx. In practical I will show you that how you can redirect to your own pages. So here you can customize the setting so that user can easily understand. Suppose you have developed the website and you have deployed the website on the internet, on the cloud, then the user which is unknown for that particular ASP.NET will not understand the ASP.NET errors. One error we have seen, that application type is not supported in case of server object. So such kind of errors cannot be understood by understand by that particular user. So for that reason we can customize it. Just write down the proper way that any user from the world can understand this particular type of error. So first of all, that error you should know status code, and according to that redirect to your web page, your website error page. So that is possible, that we will see later in practical part. Location setting says that that which are the different it is used for authentication, authorization, or any comparison setting also. So location, suppose your web application containing so many subfolders, and you want to apply the rules and regulations settings for that particular folder, that particular path, then we can specify with the help of this location as location path is equal to uploads, that is your name of the folder, and here system.web compilation debug false. So for this folder we should not debug that particular code, so that will be applied for only for upload folder. Another one for login.aspx, suppose we want to apply the authorization rules for every user, allow every user, then we have to set location path is equal to login.aspx. For this file, this authorization rule will be get followed. Authorization means you know that admin will be having what kind of permission access, then normal user can access your computer in what way, so that kind of authorization you can allow. Next one about the session state. View state, it is not part of our curriculum, but we can see about the session state. So session state, you know, by default it is a in-prop. We have run one program about session properties, and you have seen that mode, it is about the in-prop property. And there are the others one. Suppose we want to switch to other one, then we can write down here session state mode is equal to state server. So that is about the TCP/IP connection, and you have to mention the port number of your server name. And another mode, suppose you want to connect to SQL server, then we have to write down mode is SQL server, and it's a connection string is name of that particular connection string. That we'll see later. Then authentication and authorization setting. Authentication means that particular page you have login as an authenticated page, otherwise it will be given an error. So we have to validate it with the help of the authentication setting. So here login URL, it is one of the property attribute, and with that we can specify and it will be get checked. Same for the authorization, we will allow the roles as an admin and deny the users, or the users will be get denied. So we can assign the roles for authorization also. We will see it's a program, so we will execute all these programs of the settings. Another important one, app setting. Now after the system.web, this part, up to this part we have seen the different properties of system.web. The next one, it is about the app setting. App setting, here you can add the different keys and the values, and these keys and the values you can access into different applications. For example, college name as a key, and its a value is GP Kolhapur. So that GP Kolhapur value I can access into the different web forms in your application. Suppose another key as an add key is equal to add key, take an example as department information technology. So department, it is a key, and information technology, it is a value. So this value we can access with the help of configure manager dot something application, and that you have to write down the key. So value will be get access. So in this way we have to add it, add key, app key, and the value. So this value will be used accessed throughout your application. Connection string, just we have discussed whether we want to connect to a database, then we can mention the connection name and the data source name. Config sections, so here different configurations we can allow, section wise we can make it, and how to add it. Last point, that for adding it, just go to the add, you know how to add a global.asx or web form, new web form, same like that. Add, right click on your web application, add new item, and then web configuration file. So here you can see the web configuration file, this one. This is a web configuration file.